Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live broadcast. My name is Josh, and I am documenting the document $100 million worth of listed product. And boy, oh boy, are we on the way with this. And are we pumped? Hello,
Gotta
everyone.
pause my own live so
you don't hear all this double talk. We are pumped. We are going. We got the game on, which Josh is going to turn off because I will get distracted. And as much as I'd love to see Canada beat Czechoslovakia, or the Czech Republic, I should say, now's not the time. I got to be focused on what's going on here. So, we've had some incredible pieces showing up here at the warehouse. Let's talk. Let's get organized here, Josh. Right, here we go. What's happened in the last 24 hours? So, closed a deal on another 3, 4, or 5 pallets. It depends how it's broken up. So that stuff, like, I'm pushing them, get it wrapped up and get it over here because Spencer the Oracle is working on this stuff and is going through it very quickly. If you follow our stores, you'll see the stuff that is going up, and it is mind-blowing how good this stuff is. So these pallets are coming in. These Gaylords are coming in. We have 3 recently purchased Gaylords and then another 2 stacked on top of each other. So we have 5 ahead of us. It's not going to last very long. We need more stuff coming in. So I believe I've closed that deal. I spoke with my contact. He's happy. He's good. He's sending me more pictures of stuff that he needs to get rid of. We'll probably end up buying it all, honestly. So that's where we are at. We had updated some shelving. So if you were to go one shelving past this unit, we have a new shelving method to make things easier to pick. So currently we have books and manuals in these deep 2-foot boxes, or 2 foot by 18 by 18, or 2 feet by 12 by 12, something like that. Those are getting pretty heavy to remove. So we're switching our shelving system. So that has been done in the past 24 hours. And of course, a lot of listings going up. So if you look at our List Easier bookstore, you'll see this stuff start really coming up as we switch from records to books. It's not that we don't like records. It's just that books are what's coming in. So I got to tell you something here, a little moment of honesty. I don't know what I titled this anymore because yesterday when I spoke with my contact over the phone and he told me how many pallets he has and how much he's willing to sell to us, we loosely agreed last night and then a follow-up call this morning. So this is getting in motion. But this here was a probability before, and now it is an inevitability. So this is $10 million plus worth of inventory lined up. This is inevitable now. And I had to come back to this warehouse. I was at home. I came back to the warehouse with the lights off, and I was literally like just sitting down, not shaking, but really taking in like this is really happening. This is happening, and it's happening very, very quickly. So it was something else. And then Dave came down with his son and was like, yeah, no, this is happening. This is really happening. We kind of just talked for a bit and just were like, this is really going on. It was just a moment of overwhelming, you have these pivotal moments, and I can't explain it, but you just know in your heart, you're like, this is locked in now. I had another pivotal moment. I think it was January or February of 2 years ago, where I was in a parking lot overnight and things were so bad. I was like, I don't know how to get out of this, but I know this is the bottom. Like, I can feel I'm hitting the bottom. I'm hitting bottom. This is another pivot point where it's like, this is inevitable now. This is actually happening. This isn't just talk. This isn't a goal we're working towards. It's inevitable now. So, the barriers of making this possible have been removed. So now it is inevitable. And it's like almost an overwhelming feeling. It was yesterday anyway. So that's where we're at. We're operating in high gear. It's incredible. It's incredible. So that's what's happened in the last 24 hours. Everyone else is out to lunch. They're watching the game. Hopefully Canada beats Czech. I think we stand a good chance. I watched the women's game, I think yesterday, or it was a close game. Was it yesterday or the day before against Switzerland? Maybe it was the day before. I don't know how they're doing right now. Anyway, here we go. Let's get back to it. Accounts 2, list easier _ books. You will see that account is very active right now. And list easier _ records on eBay. Click us as a save seller, the little heart, and you can see what we're up to. We are almost at another big milestone, 9,863 listings across both accounts. That's awesome because this is all over 45 days. So List Easier, the document, which is not the software, but us using the software to build our own e-commerce company, we're only 45 days into it, and we've listed almost $250,000 worth of inventory. So this is absolutely incredible. $225,386.50 worth of inventory listed. That's the listed value. And our total revenue is $12,080.54. So all this over 45 days. We are still not top rated. We cannot be top rated, I don't think, for another 45 days or so, maybe longer than that. And then eBay will allow us to be in the top rated selling status. We are like hitting the limits, I think, of what is possible. And it's awesome. It's incredible. So if we can do it, you can do it. And if we can do it like this, you can do 10% of this. I believe everyone can do this. Up to a certain point, it requires discipline and everything else. So that's what's been going on. What is the topic today, Josh? What did I say the topic was going to be? I don't even see it. Oh, we are buying more. That's true. That's true. So I said this the other day that I don't want to wait on shouldn't we buy more, or shouldn't we, or should we, maybe we should wait. If we have the ability, we need to buy this stuff now. We need to take advantage of the fact that these deals are present. We've made these contacts. They're ready to move. We have to be ready to move and ready to move quick, because certainly the value is there. The value is more than there. So we got to jump, and we got to be impatient with action, but patient with results. Yes, it is requiring a fair bit of cash outlay. So this here, we're $12,000. It gets spent on inventory again. So whenever we have enough of a chunk available, it's going back out. It's purchasing more inventory. We're trying to build up stock, build up listing variation, build up the quality inventory so that we can realize the sales over time. It's raining hard here right now. You probably can't hear it, but it is a little bit distracting. I can hear the rain pounding. So if you hear that's the water going down the eaves trough downspouts or the gutters. So that's it. We're buying more. We are acting quickly. We have more inventory, good inventory available to buy than what we can technically afford right now. But we are doubling down because the returns are so outsized. Now is the time to do it. Again, once everybody is using the listing software, which eventually everybody will, that is also inevitable. It's inevitable that everyone's going to be doing this. No one's going to be watching us scale a business, millions of dollars every single year, running towards $100 million. No one's going to do that and say, well, that actually doesn't look that hard. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. Other people are going to do it too. So we want to take advantage of this moment in time. I've said it lots, that while everyone is sleeping, no one realizes what's going on. We want to take advantage. You should too. This window is not going to be open forever. What this is called, let's name it. What it's called is the window of asymmetry. Right now, me and everybody in this room here, we're all operating in the window of asymmetry. What that means is you have a massive advantage over everyone else. Eventually, that goes away. So what they say is that the window of asymmetry closes. You currently are operating in a window of asymmetry where, non-serious operators using non-serious software, or not using software at all, or people asleep at the switch, or not really realizing what's going on, or having debates about whether or not they should use list easier. While all that's going on, we're building. It's all noise, mission focus we talked about yesterday. We know it works. We're doing it. We're putting our money where our mouth is. And I can't buy enough because I know that everything that's purchased here, every good purchase is going to lead to millions of dollars in returns. Where is this thing? Oh, we lost it here. It was here. Here. That's one piece of inventory. That one piece of inventory is $500. One piece. We can't let it go. Now is the time to act. We are acting. The software is a blessing. I want to take full advantage. I don't want to I want to take this moment in time. I know it's a huge opportunity. Is it selfish? Yes. Should you be doing it? I don't know. Listen, if you don't know eBay, don't use software. Learn eBay first. But I am very hot to trot on this. Whereas I didn't see it when we first started. Before we started List Easier the document, here's a little bit of story time, but before we started List Easier the document, Super Dave was yes, we need to do this. Trust me, we need to do this. And I didn't see it. And I kind of came around where I said, okay, yes, I think it can be something. And then I really started understanding, okay, yeah, this is really going to be something. And this whole document of getting to $100 million worth of listed inventory in 9 years started off as it's possible. It's not impossible. That was my first mindset was this isn't impossible. And then as we got closer to launch, we've been doing this now for 3 months I think, close to 3 months. Including the countdown. So we did the countdown in December. We went live in January. When we went live, I went from it's not impossible to this is possible. Then when I saw how quickly Spencer the Oracle went through the records and the first books, it went from possible to probable. This is probably going to happen. We're going to hit this number. And then yesterday, it went from probable to inevitable. This is inevitably going to happen. This is, it's mind-blowing. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to happen. Why? Because all the friction is gone. We only get this stuff because it's too expensive for other people to list. We're relieving their pain. They're overwhelmed with inventory that they can't get listed. We're relieving their pain. But listing isn't a pain for us. It's easy. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. It's incredible. It's an overwhelming feeling of inevitability. Anyway, let's go to the chat. I am pumped. I am grateful. I am feeling I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe the $100 million document is inevitable. It's going to happen. This is not a gimmick. We're here every single day. We're only 3 months into documenting this. We had the 30 days of countdown. We're 45 days in, so 75 days in total. And it's inevitable. Within 3 months, that path is inevitable. All we have to do is keep going, and we'll get there. It's mind-blowing. Okay. It's exciting. It's mind-blowing. It's incredible. Snoopy Collector shooting the blood out the hand saying, hello, good to see you, Snoopy Collector. I like that you never change. Say hi. MK3914 says, hello. I think this is Michelle saying, hello, is there any easy way to upload photos from my phone into the List Easier program? Yeah, there are people who use iPhone users. What's that upload thing that you use that Kevin Commonwealth Picker and ADH Dave use? It's an app. But anyways, it transfers the files and then sends it back over and it puts it all in order and everything else. I don't know what it's called. Maybe somebody else knows in here. I don't know what it's called. Sorry. And to flip it says, good morning, good afternoon, good morning to you. Hello from snowy South Dakota, full on blizzard today. We are getting the rain portion of that, Mike. James says, all rise for the Honorable Josh Galt. Thank you, James. Appreciate you. Heart Robot says, lag. Good to see you, lag. Den Dacor says, hey, Josh, need my butt kicked into gear. You're the only one that can do that, Den. If you're facing something overwhelming, just start. Don't even think about the whole task. You know what they say in Navy SEAL training is if you want to quit, but quit tomorrow. Quit after lunch. So always tell yourself, I'm going to quit, but say I'm going to quit tomorrow. I'm going to quit after lunch. Basically, task by task is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying quit tomorrow or anything, but task by task. This was in Atomic Habits by James Clear, I think. James Cleary or James Clear, I don't remember. I should know. But in Atomic Habits, they write just do tasks. If you want to go for a run, put the shoes by the door. If you have a big thing that you need to do, like I need to get stuff listed, just take 3 things and list those 3 things. Because you're removing the friction. You'll probably get 3 more and then 5 more and 10 more. Just don't even think about the whole massive task at hand. Just a couple things at a time. Joe says, howdy, Josh. Good to see you, Joe. Welcome, welcome. Jen, hello. I'm watching the hockey game. I think we're tied up right now. I can't put it on, Jen, because I'll get distracted. M. Cole says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, M. Cole. Andy Reno, Indiana says, what's going on, Mr. Galt and chat? Good to see you, Andy. Good morning, Missy B. A bit late, but I made it. All good. Diane Vanderlinden says, hello. Good to see you, Diane. Like says, I've been out to lunch for years. I can relate. Nice. Where Pigs Fly Farms, Cindy says, we are able to watch you 10x in real time. Very impressive. Congrats. Thank you, Cindy. This is achievable, I think, for everybody. Even if at a lesser scale, even if you wanted to do it at a lesser scale, this is 8 hours a day, 4 days a week. That's it. 9 hours a day, 4 days a week. It's totally doable now. Totally doable. Classic Phase says, good morning and cheers. Thank you, Classic Phase. Lucky Fine says, good morning. Good morning to you. My man, Charlie Luke Coyne says, hey, Josh, 12,000 is a good start. Totally. For a brand new business, 12 grand in 45 days. We don't even have top rated seller status, nothing. That's awesome. So our mindset is these are output numbers, all of this. We can't control anything other than the number of accounts and listings. Even listed, I mean, we're buying the best that we can, but it's worth what it's worth, and that's what we listed at. Days live, I mean, time goes on, and our revenue we can't control. We just got to make sure we buy well. We optimize for items that we think will perform well on the platforms, and we don't overpay. But with the stuff we're getting, it's difficult to. Craig says, does List Easier work with Yahoo auctions? Craig, Yahoo? Does anybody even use Yahoo still? Yahoo. If we integrated with Yahoo auctions, I think maybe, but probably not even one person would use it. I don't even know if they have an API to integrate with. That might be one of the last ones. Like Yahoo auctions, AOL auctions, Netscape auctions, all those ones. I don't think, I'm going to go on a limb, Craig, and say we're never going to integrate in there into Yahoo auctions. I can't imagine anybody still uses that. That's 25 years old. Talk to me, Craig. What's going on with it? Is it making a comeback? Josh Graff, the man says, finally made it live. Good to see you, Josh, from Oklahoma, the USA. James Helferstay says, Josh, all like possible, probable, and I'm like, that's all possum. That's squashed on the road on my way to the USPS after 1K yesterday. Hello? Hello?
Hello, it's just me again.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Tube Addict says, hello, Josh. I get what you're saying. Went from quitting eBay on November 24th to not selling in Q4 2024 to now full throttle and new attitude, but almost everything I sell is cheap. I was done. Now I'm recharged. Because what happened was, Tube Addict, is your bottleneck was removed. The thing that made this awful, which is sitting in front of a computer listing by hand over and over and over again, which is not fun. Like, we don't start businesses to work 12 or 14 hours a day and never see the light of day. You know, there's like a joke that you can tell someone is a reseller because it'll be like August and their skin is like pasty white. They don't get any sun because they never leave. That's not what you want. You want to be able to enjoy. I think even with this rain, I'm going to go golfing today. I'm going to go to the simulator. I've made up my mind. I'm like, I think I can work it in for an hour or so. I want to live my life now. I see the light. I see how it works. Like says, I am inevitable. I've heard that somewhere before. I am inevitable. Where is that from? Am I copying someone without realizing it? James says, I got to go do a meetup to buy a truckload of toys and stuff. Maybe back by the end of the live. You guys are all doing this now. That's why we got to move. I think there will come a time where once everybody figures this out, they're just going to do it themselves. So if that truckload of toys, if someone's like, I can list this and make 750 grand off it or $500,000, I'm not going to sell it to James for $5,000. They'll figure it out, but right now it's a pain for them. So James is relieving their pain. If they have a truckload of toys, it costs them money to store it. It's sitting there. I've had enough. It's now painful. James is relieving their pain. It is an incredible time. It's an incredible time right now. Like says airdrop works as well. Local Send says Josh Graff is what the app is called. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Diane Vanderlinden says Clear was listening earlier. Josh is collecting all the Infinity Stones. Nice. Tube Addict says sourcing now has new meaning to me as opposed to before. Missed out on a lot of opportunities in the past. Not missing out on this one. Me too, Tube Addict. It's big or bust for me now. List Easier is going to make everything finally happen. I've missed out on plenty of opportunities. In the late 90s, 1999, 2000, I told the story before, but a friend of mine was building custom houses, or his dad owned a custom house building company, and nobody was really doing that. And he said there was enough room in the market for him to go out on his own. And if I wanted to pair up with him, I was only like 20, 21 years old. I'm like, nah, I'm doing this university thing. It's not for me. And he made fantastic amounts of money building houses. Tons. His company went big really quick, and I missed it. I was too afraid to take advantage of the opportunity. With Bitcoin, I got very quickly frustrated. I've told the story a million times. Da Vinci Jeremy's trying to convince me to buy Bitcoin. It's 11 cents. I'm embarrassed of it. I didn't understand it. I thought it was stupid. I publicly said so. He read the white papers. He said it was going to be a big thing. He was offering to buy them for me. He's like, mine them on your computer. It's easy. You get a new one every 2 days. If it's worth nothing, then what does it matter? And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't really care. It was just out of frustration. It was stupid. I missed that whole opportunity. Those were two big opportunities that I missed. Now, when I see this opportunity, I'm not missing it this time. I'm not afraid. I know what a missed opportunity looks like. Everyone, maybe we need to miss a few opportunities before we understand what it looks like. Forget about list easier for a second. Let's say you don't, you know what, that's not for you. You don't want to do it. You don't have the room. You live in an apartment, something like that. It's just not something that you want to do. It could be other things. There will be other opportunities. But as you get older, you realize those kind of like glaringly obvious opportunities are rare. When I was younger, I thought that they were just always there. Like opportunities were everywhere all the time. They kind of are. But these monsters have always been rare for me. They rarely come along. Like you hear the stories of people missing out on investing in Uber or Google or Amazon. They missed it. They had an opportunity and they just missed it. They'll never miss that opportunity again because now they know what a missed opportunity looks like. Lou says, have you received any neutrals or negatives yet? We received one negative on the record store. It was over a refund. So I got to think of what happened. Something happened where it was combined shipping and there was like broken telephone where one thought they refunded and the other one thought or whatever. So the person reached out and we said something like, I think you've already been refunded, and they left a negative. So once we saw the negative, we kind of dealt with it. I think that was the only negative. And then we received a neutral where someone said the record came in perfect condition. Everything was great, but they would have packed it differently. And I just reached out to them. I'm like, please don't leave this feedback. Like, we're brand new. We're doing our best here. And, it did arrive okay. We don't have like all that stuff that you're asking for in shipping, and they switched it. So one neutral and one negative, and both were changed. The buyers were very, very responsive and respectful. And, I think genuinely, don't want to harm us for any reason. So Binut says it's interesting because Yahoo Auctions was a purchase by Yahoo of a place called the On Sale Exchange. On Sale was the business to consumer eBay of the day. Number one for every sale an authorized seller could get on eBay. You'd get 50 on sale. I think it's dead now though. I never heard anyone say anything other than Yahoo Auctions until today. I kind of remember it. I just can't see that as being a thing. I don't know. Like, you don't see TikToks about Yahoo Auctions. I can't see it. Tube Addict says, need price easier and batch ASAP. I'm in love with it. It's making me more money. Sold a CD set today for $5 more than it's ever sold on eBay. It totally blows my mind. It's mind-blowing. Yeah. It's all mind-blowing. It's crazy. I feel you, Tube Addict. I feel the same mind-blowing excitement. Price easier is coming in batches. I believe there's a focus on UK right now. I don't know if John Jay is in the chat, but UK is like the steady thing that we're working on. UK is a different beast, and it is requiring a lot of love right now, and that's where we're devoting our efforts. So intentionally, while we deal with the UK stuff, and UK's running. We have a lot of UK users. It's running and everything else, but we see things in the back end and integrations that need to happen. There's a lot of work to be done there in the back end. We're working on that. In the meantime, everything is running smooth on the US site and the Australian site. So we're letting those things run. If people find edge cases and flush out bugs somewhere, then we can fix those on the way. But the eBay UK is the baby that has colic right now and needs our attention, so we're working on that. B-Nudes made 400 grand back in the day on Yahoo. Nice. Or on sale. Tubatic says, y'all need to share the love with all these truckloads of stuff. Hard to find stuff like that in rural West Virginia. Tubatic, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I always say that the way to get this stuff, somebody sent me a message yesterday, is this. Call people. Every deal I make is primarily on the phone or in person. Knock on doors. Call people. A lot of people don't do that. So I was in Niagara Falls, New York. And there's this scrapyard and it's got all these old European cars in it from like the 60s and 70s. Mercedes, like some of them have tarps over them, but they're still rotting out, all this other stuff. So I drove by it and I'm like, that stuff never moves. It's all got grass growing between it. I'm like, there's a small fortune there. And I just pulled into the neighbor's house, knocked on the door, and I said, who owns this? Who owns all that stuff? Oh, it's an old guy across town. He owns, Euro Motors across town. So I go to Euro Motors and say, that scrapyard you have there, what's going on with that? Oh, you got to talk to the owner. He's not here. He's in Florida. Come back next week. I'm going to come back next week. I want to know. So do you pursue leads like that? Because most people don't. If you want top 1% results, you have to do top 1% things. So if you're just going where everybody else goes, checking Facebook Marketplace, checking this, checking that, that's what everybody else is doing. You don't set yourself apart. But when you're sniffing it out, even if you get 10 no's, that one yes could set you up for years. And that's how I've always done it. So I've gone to, you got to have the cash too. You got to be able to pay for it. But I've gone to dealers, with the stereo views and just like, hey, I want to buy something from you, but I wanted to buy it in bulk. I don't want to buy a little bit here and there. And they're like, yeah, okay, well, I do have stuff, but I'm not ready to sell it. So to show you I'm serious, I'll buy $1,000 worth of stuff and another 1,000 and another 1,000. And then all of a sudden he comes around, he says, take it all 10,000. But that was through meeting and building relationships. Every flea market vendor, I promise you, every flea market vendor, especially if they're in their 60s or 70s, has a basement full of stuff. They are tired of hauling it up and down the stairs. And if you just speak with them and say, I believe you have a lot of stuff. The younger people still have the energy to bring it up the stairs and take it to the market every single time, but the older people don't feel like doing that anymore. They don't need the money. But if you talk to them and say, I bet you got stuff at home. I would like to buy some of that. Not pick through it, but buy it. Like, I want to buy tubs of it. Do you want to go out for breakfast sometime and talk about this? You'd be surprised where that lands. Or just strike up a conversation and show up with a coffee every day. Do you want a coffee? I'm picking some up. No, that's okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to bring you one anyway. Tell me what you want in it. If you don't want it, blah, 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 it can just sit there. And they'll say, okay, well, I'll have a tea. And then you know that they like tea. And you show up again with the tea the next day and you start talking. And these teas and coffees, it costs $2, but it's a gesture of goodwill. And then you start opening up and you got to find where their pain point is. Well, my husband passed away last year and he left all this stuff in the basement. And I really want my daughter to move back in, but we got all this crap down there and I'm too old to get it upstairs. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Why don't you come by the house? They're not going to send strangers to their house. But once you get to know them, you can relieve their pain. When you show up there and you see $500,000 worth of stuff, you can't say, I'll give you $500. You say, I'll give you 10 grand for all this. That might be worth their while. I'll take care of it. I'll get the bin for the garbage. I'll give you 10 grand. Is it okay if I pay you 2 now, 2 later? Here's my driver's license. Or get a loan, or I don't like saying get a loan, but then you got to commit to it too, But a lot of people don't do that. They just look online. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. That. But you got to talk. You're in sales. Get out there, meet people, shake hands. It's only hard the first couple times, and then you realize that people actually like talking to each other. We're social beings. You don't have to take advantage of people. You can just find out what their pain is. And once you open up, they open up. I still get calls from years ago. Are you still buying storage units? Because I've got like 5 units sitting here right now and I need to move it quickly. Just putting it out there. Lucky Find says, advice resellers, if you see a buying opportunity, jump on it quick. Otherwise, someone else will beat you to it. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You usually know in your gut if it's a good buy. If you're like, okay, no, this is a really good buy, then your mind can convince you out of it. But Scott said this to me one time. It was a big buy of antique photographs, and I was like, I don't know, it's a lot of money. And he's like, well, here's the thing. If you don't buy it, your competitor will, so you kind of have to. Well, I didn't really think of it that way. You're right. Yeah, that's true. Hustleman25 says, hello, hello, hello. B-Nude says, I went there once with a guy who had a very old MG and bought the entire front clip there. I was walking through going, oh my goodness. Tubatic says, cash is king. Of course, I'm working on that bottleneck. It's coming, though. I'll also got to work on being shy, isolated to go after deals. Yes, you do. I'm working on that, too. Thanks for the advice. You know how to, Tubatic, how to get over that? You know how to get over being shy? Go to a thrift store or, I don't know, an antique market or something, and the person that you see that you find the most attractive, like, wow, that person's very attractive, talk to them. Because if you can talk to them, and once you can get over that, you can talk to anybody. And that was always my mindset. I'm like, everybody likes to talk. I don't really have any ulterior motives. I'll just go talk to them, and nothing bothers me. And if they don't want to talk to me, they'll just turn around and walk the other way, and I don't really care because I'm just here to talk. I don't really have any ulterior motives. But yeah, you do have to. We are in sales, and I know a lot of times we're sitting behind a computer and we're not really talking to anyone, and we're in basements and garages and upstairs bedrooms and stuff. But at the end of the day, you are still in sales. And part of that is, especially with stuff, is convincing people that, you're the right person for them to move their stuff onto. I don't know if convincing is the right word, but more just like putting yourself out there. I can't tell you the number of times that I've called strangers on the phone, met with strangers, like showed up, and then bought their stuff. That's happened more often than not. Even if we pick up a deal online, that deal is a frame in what turns into something much bigger through conversation. But I will always call. Like if someone texts me too much, I'm going to call them. I don't like to, if I get 3 texts in a row, I'm like, I'm calling you. And then if you don't answer, I'll call again, or I'll show up. That's always how I've been. Talking about getting B-News is talking about getting certified, insured, and bonded to clean houses out. Those that don't, well, it can get very sketchy. I tried to tell that to Kevin. You're gonna buy bulk. You better know 100% chain of custody. You know what? For the stuff that we buy off legit suppliers, but honestly, the chain of custody for this stuff, for me, it's not like it's on Amazon. If a guy is like 80 years old and he's been a DJ for 40 years and he's been collecting records for 40 or 50 years, here's my collection. I'm not going to ask for the receipts. Like, obviously, this is your collection. If someone passes away and the spouse or the widow or widower is like, this was their stuff and I don't feel right about it, but I don't want to throw it in the garbage. Like, someone should enjoy this. Can you do something with it and not throw it out? I'm not going to be like, yeah, but I want you to prove that she bought all this, it's clearly theirs. Now, that is a whole other story if you're buying new product. If someone opens the back of a tractor trailer or back of a semi truck and says, hey, 80 pallets of iPhones, I'd be like, oh, wait a second. Like, use your common sense. Whoa. Nope. Here's 4 skits of DeWalt drills. I'll give it to you for $400. No. 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 Clearly something wrong there. Something not right there. But for the stuff that we buy, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, Land Shark Picker Craig says a wise man once said, "Scared money doesn't make money." Yeah, exactly. In order to in order to capture the compounding gains of many investments, but let's say the compounding gains of an investment, you gotta have the outlay part. You have to invest in the first place. You can't theoretically invest and then expect to receive all the benefits from that. So you have to have the layout, the cash layout. I think that's where a lot of people run into problems where they're like, look, I don't have $2,000 or $3,000 to buy all this stuff. But you can start small. You start small and work your way up. That's how you do it. Like says, I bought inventory many times. Didn't need I didn't need just so another seller wouldn't get it and drive down prices. Yeah, yeah, you can purchase defensively. If you're big enough, definitely purchasing defensively is a way to go. Um, I don't think I've ever purchased defensively so much as for me, it was my first big purchases. I knew it was right. Like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is right. It was just swallowing the pill of like 5 figures of outlay because the first time I did a big buy like that, it's not like money was coming easy. Like the business was every dollar was reinvested and I build up like $5,000 or $7,000. And then this deal would come along where I could pick up like 700 grand of inventory for $7,000. And I'm like, I have to do it. And, you know, that's all part of it. That's that that's part of that game. It's part of that game. And the gut instinct good buys have always, always paid back massively. Yeah, like says I spent $70,000 last month just for that reason. Remember when you are scaling your business, the I'm going to tell you this. I'll say it in terms of investment. I won't even say business. I'm not going to pretend to be some business guru, but for my investments, going from $0 to $10,000 saved was the hardest thing. Maybe $0 to $100,000 in savings or liquid investment. Going from 0 to 100,000 is the hardest thing because all of the things are front loaded. You don't know what you don't know. What you think you know is wrong. So you got to gain a lot of knowledge. You have not gone through the pain of trying. Since you've never done it means you've never really tried. You have not ventured out and failed and lost. You have not attempted to be the best at that thing. In the case of investing, being the best. You didn't do any of these things yet. You're starting it now. It's the same with business. So getting from 0 to 10,000 or 0 to 100,000 was the hardest. Took years. But going from 1 to 1 million to 2 million, I know these are all big numbers, but I'm trying to prove a point. It's not trying to be like, oh, money. That's a double. 1 million to 2 million is a double. And it's way, way easier than going from 0 to 100,000. Way easier. It's like that in business too. This whole struggle to get to 6 figures is the most difficult part. Now, if you figured out what got you there, you already know what to exclude and what to double down on. So scaling, once you figure it out, scaling becomes easier. It becomes more hands-off. I gotta watch what I say because I don't want to say anything. I am saying this live. I don't want to say anything that is going to be misconstrued. But the point that I'm trying to get at here is that scaling is the most difficult when you have to reinvest every dollar into scaling your systems. Once the systems are built, it gets easier and easier and easier. Just keep going, as Lag would say. Don't give up. It's painful in the beginning. We've all gone through our own versions of hell, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Diane Vanderlinden says, if you're shy, my experience is tons of people come up to start conversations when they see I'm using Google Lens. Well, and Diane, I mean, we're here in chat. You and I are talking. So you could talk to me face to face. Why not? We already are talking. We like each other. We know each other well enough. You could do it in person. There's no difference. It's just that you're typing it and I'm talking it. But of course we can meet. I met Michelle. We had a great conversation. You know, Scott says he's shy. I'll pull you out of your shell, Scott. But you know what I mean? It's if you can talk here, we can talk in person. It's all just part of it. I think when I was younger, maybe I was a little bit more in my shell, but speaking of which, I got to text Pete and John. Beanut says, basically no different than saying buying out of the back door of a pawn shop that got stolen merch. It's the seller's job to know. Not knowing is no escape at all. Alex, the Beard King Picker, says, hello, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Bearded Picker says, dang, can't remember this live. I'll start texting you before I go live. They're asking Scott how the battle goes again. Still using the second channel. The battle with YouTube rages on. They haven't got it figured out yet. Bearded Picker says, in person is different. If you aren't an introvert, you don't understand. I disagree. I think, honestly, it's a mental thing you're creating. Scott, I think that, so when you go out with your friends, you go out with Harlan or Jennifer, you have a great time, or your wife. So you're not introverted with them. You know them already. So it's like this own bubble that you create where I'm an introvert, therefore I can't do it. What if you just told yourself every single day you're an extrovert? What if you told yourself every single day that you like meeting people? What if you just started talking to people? I bet within 3 months, you wouldn't even notice. You'd be like, actually, it's not as draining as it once was. You're a human. You'll adapt. You'll overcome. I said when I first started doing my lives again, or even videos, I was like, I don't really want to do this. And I did some videos that are in my channel where I spent a lot of time and money producing them. I'm like, I want to produce sick, awesome content. And I did videos where like I went and saw James and I went to this super cool shop and I put all this editing and everything else in and music and met some really interesting people. Nobody cared. Nobody watched it. Didn't matter. So just like coming on here live, talking to the heart, from the heart, that's me. I was like, I don't like YouTube. I don't like doing this because I'm putting in all this effort and it's not really coming back. And then, you know, now that I'm doing the lives again, I'm like, no, I really do enjoy it. This is a lot more fun. So I think I was already starting to put that stigma on myself that I don't like this. And I'm using that to justify why those videos sucked. But really, for me, it was just that nobody cared about that. That's not what they're watching me for. They watch me for lives. They don't care about those kinds of videos. So, you know, for me to be like, I don't like YouTube, then therefore I don't want to do it because those videos sucked and I don't like it. So everything is justified and neatly wrapped up. The answer is, Josh, this is just the wrong thing. I think it's the same with meeting people. So I had opportunities where I said no in my 20s and even into my 30s a little bit, where people would say, hey, come to this. You got to meet this guy. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. Or I'd say yes and just never show up. It was so bad. Now I'm like the season of yes. If it's an opportunity and it works, you know, if it's stupid, I'm not going to do anything ridiculous, but I'm in the season of yes. So if someone calls and says, hey, you got to meet this person, I think they've got something for you, I'm there. Why not? What's the worst can happen? I'm in the same position as I am now. If it's a no. Elbows up, thumbs up. Nice. Let's hit the thumbs up, says Lucky Finds. What is the Deuce channel? It's this channel. It's Bearded Picker 2. Where Pigs Fly Farm Cindy says, hey, Beard, set an alarm on your phone for showtime. It works great. Awesome, awesome. James made it back with quickness. Careful, do not talk to Bearded Picker 2. Bearded Picker 2, he'll get your account hacked. Danielle Vanderlinden says, I saw a Buddhist monk at Goodwill the other day. I didn't know they made robes out of used clothes and dyed them orange. I've seen Amish at Goodwill before. So there is a Goodwill. It's not actually a Goodwill. It's a benevolent fund, it's called, but they operate a building. And there is an Amish community about 45 minutes away, and they get driven down like once a month, and then they shop for fabrics and clothes and everything else. And I think they largely repurpose the clothing. So they'll take the fabric from the garment and then repurpose it into something else. But they buy the stuff is really cheap. And I think it's okay as long as they get a ride and don't drive themselves, although I don't know the whole specifics behind it. But oh, B-Nudes, I think it is their Google account that got taken away. Bearded Picker 2 says, no, do not talk to John. He is the dangerous one. So we didn't do a Profit Playbook podcast last weekend. It's starting to look like there's not going to be another one this week either. I don't know. So until John gets his account together or fixed, I don't think we're going to have another one. I do feel like in my heart, both those guys are on the right track. So they've spoken with Google, they've spoken with YouTube. It appears as though YouTube is investigating. They took that video down for John. They've been communicating back and forth, trying to figure out what's going on. I have a feeling there's a queue of things to deal with, and they're like in the queue. So one department looks at it and they're like, oh no, this guy needs to get his account back. And then it's got to wait for the other department. And I think they're stuck in that queue. But it's going to happen really quick where they're going to get an email that says, click on this to reactivate your account, put in a new password, teach them something about password safety or something like that. And then they're back on board. That's what I think is going to happen. John says, the real flipping ain't easy. You're probably right, Scott. Maybe I need to erase my entire presence from YouTube altogether. John, somebody else already did that. You don't need to, but you guys will get it back. Don't worry. B-Nude says that if the Google account is hacked, it's a good time to have that account terminated. I think they're going to get it fixed. I think this happens enough that they have a system or a protocol for it. You know, I've heard of other YouTubers have their accounts hacked and they get it back. So I don't think it's a permanent thing. Don't say that, Den. Don't say that, Den. We're down 3-2. Well, I'll turn this on, but I don't know how to get the game back on. Den. Don't say that. Is Canada down 3-2? Don't say that. What is it on? I don't even know what the Olympics are on. I don't know how to work a TV. Is it 3-2? Who's watching the game right now? How bad is it? I can't find it on here. I don't want to hear that. Can't find it, guys. Sorry. It's probably for the best. You don't want to sit here watching me watch TV. That's not good, Den. Missy B says, when I put your new name in, all I get is your old account. You may totally change your name to be safe. James says, gotta make jokes to make it feel better. You will get it all back. John says, the mistake was that and not having proper recovery tools like a physical USB key, which is one of the things that YouTube asks for. B-Newt says, I won't use Google OneDrive, any of that crap. It's all too integrated. And to flip it says, the rain just turned to snow in Minnesota. Keep it there. And to flip it, we don't want it. 3-2. 7 minutes left in the third. Okay, I'm going to watch this game, I think. We have 4 more minutes. Please give me a thumbs up. I'm This is devastating, guys. I don't know how to get this on the game. We can't have that. We can't have that. Go to search. I don't know how to do this. Yeah, this is your COO of a artificial intelligence company that does not know how to use a TV. Well, that's disappointing. Let's all watch the game. Okay, let's go watch the game, everyone. All of you, I wish you all the best. Take care. We'll see you in tomorrow's live. And keep going, everyone. Nothing but good news coming from here. I'm pumped. I'm feeling good.